of governance in Lesotho, one of the many beneficiaries that the EUD is funding. I am the facilitator slash moderator slash MC for the day. So I'd like to call on Gender Links to give us the welcome remarks, the overview of the event, and outline the program. While Gender Links is coming up on stage, in your press packages, you'll find the agenda for today. The speeches are enclosed inside the folders on your tables. The presentations and the project fishes, a term I learned recently. It's like the overview of the programs, the project fishes in your packages. Thank you.
Thank you very much. As it has been said, I'm representing Gender Links Lesotho as the country director, and I'm very happy to welcome all of you here today. International Women's Day is a moment of celebration. That is why we are here. But it is also a moment of honesty and reflection. While we celebrate the achievements that have been made by women in Lesotho and across, we must also confront the harsh realities that we've continued to face each and every day, where the lives of these particular women are threatened. In Lesotho, it's no secret that gender-based violence remains one of the most serious barriers to gender equality and social justice. It affects women and girls in our homes, and recently we have seen through media reportings and also through the people that we might know that it affects men as well. That is why evidence now matters. More than a decade ago, Lesotho conducted its first ever national GBV indicator study, which provided critical baseline for understanding the scale and drivers of violence. We might remember it was then when we saw women becoming victims and only men becoming perpetrators. Through the support of the European Union delegation to the Kingdom of Lesotho, and in partnership with organizations such as the International Commission of Jurists, Synod Legal Center, the People's Matrix, the PCU, and Sesotho Media and Development, we are conducting new studies to better understand how gender-based violence is evolving in our country. Today's press conference marks an important milestone in this journey. We are not releasing final statistics yet. Instead, we are sharing early insights, emerging patterns, and themes that the data is beginning to reveal. These insights remind us that while progress has been made thus far, the nature of violence is also changing, shaped by social, economic, as well as technological realities. But research alone cannot change this reality. Government institutions must strengthen protection and justice systems. Communities challenging harmful norms should be a reality. Civil society should be supporting survivors, and the media should ensure that the truth is seen and heard. And that is why your presence, all of you, matters today. The media plays a powerful role in shaping the national conversations and ensuring that the voices of survivors are not ignored. Allow me to express our sincere appreciation once again to the European Union for its continued support to gender equality and evidence-based advocacy in Lesotho. Partnerships like this enable us to move beyond rhetoric and build responses, not only for media to capture and stories to be written, but to be grounded in knowledge as well as accountability. As we share these insights today, our hope is not just to let you know what is happening, but it's also to spark deeper national reflection and stronger collaborations as we prepare for the full studies. Let me conclude by saying gender-based violence is not inevitable, it is preventable. And the evidence that we are generating here today must become the action that protects the women and girls of tomorrow. Thank you.
For me, my voice is loud enough. They're asking that I do not use the mics for a small and a period of time while they are working on the mics. I'm hoping the next speaker is as loud as me to try and not use the mic. Next, I will ask for remarks by the Ministry of Gender, Youth and Social Development. Remarks. Since you'll not be using the mic, if you can speak from there, but I think from here, since you know. Oh, okay. For the cameras here. Okay. Colleagues, remember to introduce yourselves when you speak.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. May I acknowledge the presence of the Deputy Commissioner of Police in our midst, and good morning again. My name is Mahmoudi Bedi Nakane. I work in the Ministry of Gender, Youth and Social Development as the Principal District Gender Officer in Maseru District. Thank you, Mayor, for giving me this privilege to say something. We may remember that on the 8th, on the 8th of March is the International Women's Day. That is when we commemorate the International Women's Day. So today, as will be the presentation of the indicator study in Lesotho, that will be the peak of the commemoration of the International Women's Day. I would like to say a few words on the this global theme on the International Women's Day. As rights, justice, action for all women and girls. And to me, it calls for governments, institutions, and individuals to move beyond commitments and take decisive action to ensure that women and girls fully enjoy their rights, access to justice, and live free from justice and violence. So we are here today. To present or to help the results of the study that was undertaken last year. And the theme reminds me that we must first commit to building a society where the rights, the dignity and the safety of women and girls are protected. And that should be done with, I have the milestone which I think this could help us to be committed to building a society free. First, we must strengthen prevention and response to gender-based violence. This would include enforcing laws. We are all aware that numerous legislations enacted to address gender-based violence in Lesotho, but enforcement is still a major challenge. We should also be strengthening the survivor center services, which I think is an urgent matter, improve access to justice, and ensure that perpetrators are held accountable. And also engage on awareness raising with the aim of increasing reporting, combating the toxic norms while reinforcing the positive norms and tradition. We should be communicating for prevention. Secondly, women should be empowered economically. When women are dependent, they are always trapped in an abusive relationship, and hence ensuring that women have got, so that should be done by ensuring that women have got access to land, financial resources, employment opportunities, and entrepreneurship programs. That will help to break the cycle of vulnerability. We are all aware that GBV is the result of unequal power relations. Therefore, financial power is essential for women and girls. Again, the struggle cannot be won without involving men and boys. I mentioned that transforming harmful social norms and attitudes could be one major effort to reduce GBV, but that cannot be done only by, cannot be done without involving men and boys, because it should be in a continuous engagement of the whole community and inclusive of men and boys. Gender equality cannot be achieved by women alone. It should be a continuous effort of all the members of the community without leaving men aside. The fourth pillar, we should make sure that women participate fully in leadership and decision making. When they have a voice in the governance, policy development, community leadership, the society becomes inclusive and responsive to the needs of all the citizens. Ladies and gentlemen, despite the high rate of GBV and other inequalities, there is still hope. We all know that women are contributing in agriculture, education, government, and community development. They are also raising families, building businesses, advocating for justice, and shaping the future of the nation. So what is our responsibility now? Our responsibility now is to create an enabling environment where women and girls can thrive, where their rights are respected, their voices are heard, and their potential is fully recognized. I mentioned the theme in the beginning of when I started here, because the aim is to call an action. So in this moment, we should, together as government, civil societies, traditional leaders, development partners, communities, men, women, and young people, we should build a society where gender equality is not an aspiration, but a reality. Where GBV is minimal, no, not minimal. Where it does not exist. Lehlanya le a bokanelwa ha re le mmoho re tla etela. In closing, I wish to express my sincere appreciations to all development partners and stakeholders who continue to work tirelessly to promote gender equality and combat gender-based violence in Lesotho. Thank you.
Members of the media, just testament how can I hopefully on the same wavelength. Yes. Why are we here? We are commemorating International Women's Day. That's what the speakers are saying. What is the theme? Man from Gender said it. What is the theme for this year?
Gain to give.
Gain to give. Okay. I was just testing whether the speakers did not disturb us. I'd like to call on the representative from the Lesotho Mounted Police Service to provide a review of GBV cases handled over recent years, examining prevalence, common forms of abuse, reporting patterns, investigative challenges, and institutional responses, with emphasis on improving survivor-centered services and community safety.
Thank you, the Program Director. My name is Basaka Mukete. Currently, I'm the Deputy Commissioner of Police responsible for Criminal Investigation Division, of which the unit of Child Gender Protection Unit falls under CGPU. As I'm required to make some remarks on the issues pertaining to cases that are handled by my unit, taking into consideration the recent years. And the unit, as I said, the Child Gender Protection Unit handles cases of sexual offenses in all forms. So in other words, we receive report and investigate all reported cases, and also we collect evidence that connects the suspects with the crime. In most of the incidences that we deal with includes family dispute, particularly the domestic violence. It's a known fact that the issue of domestic violence, actually some of the things are considered as a taboo. Victims of crime don't normally come up, but through the sensitization programs that we always hold, we make them aware that such conducts actually constitute crimes and they have to be reported. There are incidences that involve children and vulnerable groups. It has emerged, of course, recently that majority of violence against children are perpetrated by close relatives. As the 2013 study indicates, 86% of the police cases, actually victims are women. And it may be explained, or one may wonder as to why men actually are reluctant to report. But it's something that we are working on to sensitize that, because men also become victims of crime. But as I said, the study indicates that 86% of the reported case with the police, actually victims are most invariably are women. We try by all means to do our duties as the law enforcement. Our main task, as indicated in our law, is that we have to prevent crimes before it occurs. We make people aware that where the crime has occurred, they must come forth and report. That's the prevention aspect of it. But where the crime has occurred, we embark on the investigation part of our duty. That is collection of evidence, which connects the suspect with the crime committed. We bear in mind that at the end of the day, our cases are not going to end up in our shelves in the police station, but they will be taken to court. So the main task is to collect evidence that is going to prove our cases beyond reasonable doubt. And it's not a very simple task. It's a very huge mountain to climb to try to convince the court that indeed the person that we are going to present before the court as a suspect will have evidence which will be enough to convince the court that indeed it is the person who is responsible for the crime complained of. There are, of course, some challenges, as I said. You may find that we don't normally receive reports timelessly, and that affects the credibility of evidence that we collect as police officers. Either because the perpetrators have threatened the victims, or the victims did not know their rights, that once they become victims of crime, they can report. So the late reporting has some negative effects into the manner in which our investigations are conducted, because certain evidence may not be available, which may be required for prosecution purposes. As I said earlier, gender-based violence in most communities actually is considered as taboo or a stigma. Take, for example, a wife who complains that she has been beaten by the husband. Sometimes they consider, well, the husband is entitled to chastise the wife. That's the perception they have. Violence against children sometimes is not considered so serious by most of the communities. They still maintain that children have to be chastised, and then sometimes when the crime has occurred, it takes some time before it reaches to our knowledge, and when we start investigations, it becomes a bit complex for us to have evidence that will be admissible or will be receivable by the courts in order to make the determination as to whether indeed the person that we have presented as a suspect is indeed guilty of the crime or not. We also encounter problems when it comes to the children reporting of what has actually transpired or how they suffered as victims of crime. We have piloted a child-friendly space which is located in the district of Tabatseka, Mohalisuku, Pitseng in the district of Leribe, and in Murija in the district of Maseru. The preparations are at advanced stage, where the child-friendly police stations actually create a conducive environment for children to be able to shed an idea of how they have suffered, how the crime occurred, which used to be the problem in the past. And we believe that our development partners will continue supporting us on building more friendly space countrywide. We have also established safe space in Leribe, Mohalisuku and Maseru with the assistance by the Global Fund, where victims are catered for. Because we discovered in the past that it was not possible, or it was difficult to separate the victims from the perpetrators, and then sometimes it became a bit complex for them to give us information that we require for the investigation purposes. Of course, yes, we are doing everything possible to ensure that issues of gender-based violence are investigated, but there are some challenges that we encounter, as I said earlier. But with the help of the development partners, we believe that we'll be able to solve majority of the problems that we encounter, particularly the ones that affect gender-based violence. And when I'm here to say thank you for your attention. Thank you.
Thank you, Ndate. Just a gentle reminder, the speeches are contained in the press packages. I'd like the EUD to come and make remarks.
Good morning. All protocol observed. We skipped that today. Kotsong. My name is Erika Pasquini. I'm the Deputy Head of Delegation of the European Union. I'm here today on behalf of our ambassador, Mette Sunergren, who is out of the country. Otherwise, she would have been here today with us, as this is a topic that is very dear to her heart and to our sphere of work. So I welcome you all once more to this media briefing that is an event organized in the framework of the International Women's Day celebration. First and foremost, allow me to thank Gender Links for hosting this important event, but also to thank the Ministry of Gender, Youth and Social Development for being here today. I know that it was a very difficult, as there is a concomitant event, so thank you very much for ensuring your presence today, but also, of course, to the Lesotho Mounted Police Service and to all the partners and stakeholders and the media, of course. Today we embrace the powerful theme set by the UN for this year, which is rights, justice, action for all women and girls. The theme today, this year, compels us to address the legal and structural obstacles hindering true gender equality. Equal access to justice is essential not only for protecting women and girls, but also for accountable governance, public trust, and social cohesion. By promoting inclusive and equitable justice system, the EU supports building stable and democratic societies, addressing impunity for crimes, including sexual and gender-based violence, and empowering women and girls to exercise their rights and contribute fully to their communities. The EU remains deeply concerned, as we have learned from the previous interventions, with the ongoing prevalence of gender-based and domestic violence in Lesotho. And we will hear today more about the most recent statistics that will be presented. Sexual offenses and crimes deriving from gender-based violence remain alarmingly persistent. We recognize the imperative to continuously address GBV aspects, from prevention to prosecution to providing support for survivors. Ending GBV and promoting gender equality is a shared goal with the government of Lesotho, with civil society and international partners. Thus, joint events like the one we are seeing today are vital because we really encourage and welcome initiatives that bolster sector coordination. Today, with the presentations of the preliminary findings of the studies from our partners, let me name them: the International Commission of Jurists, Synodi, People Matrix, Lesotho Media and Development, Gender Links, as mentioned, and also our justice program. We update our understanding from the first GBV study dating back from 2013, highlighting the importance of data-driven approaches in tackling GBV. Gender data is not a collection of numbers. It is the backbone of informed policymaking and effective intervention strategies. Without data, we can't act. It allows us to understand the prevalence, the drivers, and the impact of gender-based violence, providing a foundation upon which we can build robust solutions to protect women and girls and promote gender equality. By updating the GBV indicator study, we are not only revisiting past baselines, but also adapting to new challenges that we will hear, such as emerging forms of violence, including, for instance, the technology-facilitated ones. This updated evidence is crucial for transforming gender norms and strengthening the implementation of domestic violence laws through advocacy, community engagement, committed to supporting Lesotho's institutions and communities in the fight against GBV, while supporting justice institutions like the judiciary, the DPP, the legal aid unit, the children's courts that were mentioned before, through initiatives like the support to the reform and strengthening of governance in Lesotho to handle and provide adequate responses to GBV cases. We are also supporting communities via the work of our partners from civil society organizations, which are the focus of today's media brief. Let me recognize and celebrate the presence of our partners' organizations today, because the European Union considers civil society to be a key partner, both on the global scale, but also here in Lesotho. Civil society is central to driving change and facilitating service delivery, advocacy, governance, and community development. Over the years, we have committed significant resources to support civil society-led initiatives, providing regular call for proposals to submit projects to empower these organizations for positive change. The EU ongoing effort in Lesotho, the financial effort in Lesotho, amounts to around 8.45 million euros, which is equivalent to 168.5 million maluti. Thank you. Actively focus on youth sorry, I don't think it's working. Is it? I can continue also without, whatever you prefer. Can you hear me well? Good. May I go on? Okay. So, EU support to civil society focuses on youth grassroots organizations promoting social accountability, protecting human rights, with a special focus on women and children, and combating GBV. I'm about to finish. Let me congratulate civil society organizations for their engagement, and I look forward to the rollout of their activities and the multiplier effect that these can have, especially with regards to targeted behavioral change campaigns, and of course for the update of relevant data. Let me say no more. I will hand over the floor shortly to present the preliminary findings, but I want to emphasize the practical significance of our partnership with civil society organizations. By working together to build more inclusive and equitable justice system, we can create more stable, prosperous and democratic societies where women and girls can thrive and reach their full potential. The EU is committed to promoting gender equality and empowering women and girls to access justice, exercise their rights and contribute to the development of their communities. Thank you very much for your commitment and for your collaboration. Que aleboja. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Before the projects present their preliminary findings, can we have tea for 10 minutes and then come back after What's the time? 15 minutes. 15 minutes, and then we'll have the partners present their preliminary findings. Thank you. Tea is this side. Just use this door. You can come back and sit.